What is good? What is good, Chiefs Kingdom? Woo, baby! What a game! Thursday night football. There might be some discussion about whether this is like the most exciting, impactful Thursday night football game ever played. I don't know what else to tell you. We hope to get a bunch of people joining us. I tweeted out that we were going live. This is a break glass in case of emergency episode of the Kingdom Cast.
Chiefs.
Let me send out some links right now too. God, that was great.
Oh
man, Chiefs beat the Chargers in LA in overtime. There's so much to talk about. We'll break down some of the game and just get into the action here. Send us those comments. Click that like and subscribe button if you're joining us maybe for the first time. We got a bunch of new friends this week, a bunch of new followers. So, yeah, we'd love to have some comments, questions, anything. Just keep this party going for a little while here. It's your boys, Scott, Nick, Bo. Fellas, what do you think?
I'm surprised that my daughter didn't wake up because me and my wife were screaming so loud when Travis Kelce was running with the ball. Just the excitement at the end of that game to go from, like a 13-14 defensive struggle. The Chiefs just, making stops at the goal line, the Chargers refusing to take points when they had them on the board, and then just like an offensive explosion at the end of the game. Patrick Mahomes just outshowing Justin Herbert in his home stadium. That's what that was. At the end of the game, Patrick Mahomes showed why he's Patrick Mahomes, why Justin Herbert is Justin Herbert. He's a fine quarterback. I'm not trying to dog him, but Patrick Mahomes has that championship swagger. He's the guy that will go and get that touchdown and then get the touchdown in overtime. And, Herbert had the opportunity on a couple of fourth downs to make conversions, and he didn't get it. He had the opportunity to go down and just had to get in field goal range, and they would have won the game. Couldn't do it. And that was exciting on brand Chiefs football there, right there. That was amazing to watch.
My take right here. No words. Actually, I have plenty of words. I'm not going to lie. Sorry to hit it right on the head. What a shootout, though. What a great game that was, man. Like, defenses on both sides played really great. Man, and then those last couple drives by Patrick Mahomes, just precise and amazing to watch. It was so gratifying to watch him actually do that after kind of struggling a little bit. The beginning of the game, or not the very beginning, but like in the middle of the game, our offense was struggling a little bit. So, what a great turnaround we had. Travis Kelce with a heck of a run right there at the end. My God, neighbor comes out across the street, goes to take it. The Chiefs won. You heard me yelling so loud. Oh, my voice is kind of raspy because, great victory. Sorry, I'm still excited. Keep just saying, but yeah. Scott, what's your takeaway, man? How are you feeling?
Just, man, Nick was talking about that's why Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert is Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert made some good plays, made some nice throws, but Mahomes got the ball, went down, scored the touchdown. Herbert got the ball there at the end of regulation with a chance to go down. All he had to do was get in field goal range.
Right.
And he didn't do it. Patrick Mahomes, first of all, Melvin Ingram calling the tails and winning the coin flip against his old team is just – that is the coldest shit I've ever seen possibly.
So great.
There's a lot of talk on Twitter. People are like, this is the revenge game or what, dude, the guy that you let go ends up coming back to win the coin toss against you to basically cost you the division. Just coldest shit ever. But, Herbert got the ball, the chance to go down, get in field goal range, win the game. He couldn't do it. He didn't do it. Mahomes gets the ball in overtime. And let's be honest. He had some help. That was an unbelievable play by Travis
Oh my
Kelce.
God.
Obviously,
Yeah.
there in overtime on the touchdown, all the yak, but still, man, Mahomes just he's got it, man. He's got it,
Right.
and there's not very many people in the league that have it like he does.
Right. And it was a little worrisome because, he threw one into the dirt on a rush touchdown. We should have had 7 earlier, man. So it was just like, it was great to see him just put those final drives together, too. Hats off to the defense, too, for some amazing stops. I think they were inside our 5-yard line 3 times, 0 points. I mean, that's going to be talked about this week, but that. God, I think Travis Kelce almost had 200 yards this game.
190.
And
Insane.
whew, I'm blown away. That was a great game. What a great game.
Yeah,
And all but seals the 6th straight AFC West, championship for the Chiefs. They've got a solid lead now, effectively a 3-game lead over the Chargers, right?
I'm not sure if it's a 3-game lead or not.
I think it's 2 now. I think it's just 2 now.
Is it just 2?
Yeah, it's 2 games. I don't know how the tiebreakers would work out, though. Division record, I think the Chiefs have 1 loss in the division, right? So, hadn't really thought that far ahead as far as tiebreakers. But, yeah, I mean, you got a 2-game, even you're 2 games up with what, 3 to go?
Right.
Yeah, that's and that's money time. That's where Patrick Mahomes separates himself from all the rest.
And Travis Kelce too, right? I mean, just the runs that he had were fantastic. And I know that they were saying, oh, well, some guys took some bad angles, bullshit, whatever. Dude, he just dominated, got the ball, had space in front of him, and they had a chance to make a play. He made the play, and they didn't, right? And he almost had 2 crazy long touchdowns. After a few quiet weeks from him, it was great to see him, just ball out. I mean, is that the most receiving yards for a tight end ever in an NFL game?
I mean, it's up there though.
It's got to be a top 5 if it's not the top 1, right? It was just a very exciting game to watch. I'm gonna have a hard time going to sleep tonight.
Me too. Hence the emergency podcast we had here.
We're not sleeping anyway, right?
Right. How are you guys feeling about all those 4th downs on both sides of the ball? I mean, they went for a bunch of times on 4th down, didn't convert. We went for it on a 4th down, didn't convert. What's up with this trend going on? Why do you guys think coaches are trying to go for a 4th down instead of taking points? I mean, I feel like the Chargers definitely missed out on 9 points easily, like Nick alluded to earlier. They could have put that game away and made it a miserable game for us. Instead, turn it over to number 15. He does what he does. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think that, I'm okay with targeted times when you're going to go for it. When you have the ball at your opponent's, 1 or 2 yard line, if you have a competent defense, I was disappointed that the defense, after, let them basically march down in 90 yards on that drive. But it's okay for, I think it's like the Madden football shit that they were doing on the Chargers, where you just never, essentially never punt and never kick a field goal. I disagree with that wholeheartedly, especially there at the end of the first half, right? I'll say that, I wasn't totally against the Chiefs going for it on 4th down, but you kick a field goal and you have a chance to take the lead.
Yeah, the lead thing was kind of like
then the Chargers, I mean, all the opportunities where they went for it in risky situations and they gambled, and then they don't gamble on a 2-point conversion that would have put them up 2 scores, right? When you're guaranteed up a touchdown. I thought that was kind of an odd call from how they were, managing the game. But I'm glad they didn't do it, because then the Chiefs go down, get the 2-point conversion. it's a tie game. Defense holds. So I think it's okay in small doses. I think, you gotta, like, if you've ever, I don't know, played cards, or, there, the low percentage plays, right? Like, you understand, like, that I'm not, I have a very low percentage chance of drawing a straight here or whatever.
Yeah.
And so you can't go for that every hand, but, every once in a while, like, you got to go for it and hope that, the odds are in your favor.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just the analytics people will say that you have X percentage chance of getting a touchdown over, in this play. And, you get 7 instead of 3. So if you can get, even if you can just convert 2 out of the 3 and you don't get the 1, you still come out points ahead. And I understand the thought process, and I understand why teams want to do it.
Right.
But it's like one of those things where maybe the Chargers, they're taking it a little too far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to just never kick a field goal to, I mean, I don't know. I'm not an analytics expert, and I don't know all the percentages, and I don't know all of the data and the whatever, the data sets that go into making those calls. But, he not only did he make some terrible, but he also wasted a time out there on the Travis Kelce challenge. There was no way that they were going to turn that into overturn that into a fumble. And I thought the same thing Nick just brought up. You go for it, and you just, like, you're going to go for it on 4th down all the time, no matter what, especially when you're down by the end zone. But then you got a chance to go for 2 to make it a 2-score lead, and you don't. And so, to me, that is, like, the most puzzling thing. That's even more confusing than going for it on every 4th down, because I've often thought, and I've thought this for a long time, you're going for it on 4th down. I mean, the punting, I mean, that gains you field position. But a lot of times, unless you're punting from deep in your own end, it goes into the end zone, or you kick it out of bounds, you're only gaining a couple, 2-3 first downs worth of yardage. So I definitely like an aggressive mentality. I just feel like maybe Brandon Staley, the Chargers coach, maybe he's taking it a little too far and embracing it a little bit too much.
Would you guys think it's fair to say that he lost the game for him? Because, I mean, I feel like the Chargers played a hell of a game. I mean, you couldn't say, like, any other players underperformed or, like, point to any, like, missed things. I think it was, like, bad coaching that kind of lost that game for him.
Yeah, I don't know, that weird injury, and prayers up to that dude.
Yeah.
The tight end for the Chargers.
Man, that was scary.
I mean, he caught that, and if he doesn't go out cold when he hits the ground, he probably hangs onto the ball, and that's a touchdown right there.
That's a great point.
He kind of got – they kind of got bit on a fluky thing there, and I saw that guy was stable in the hospital, was being evaluated for a neck. I couldn't tell. It didn't look like he smacked his head on the ground that hard. He didn't get run into by
strangest thing I've seen in a long time.
I saw, like, the whiplash effect, right? Like, he just went straight back and hit it. And so, like, I don't think that takes much impact.
Dude was out, but, everybody here at the Kingdom Cast, I think, would say, like, best wishes for that guy, man.
Yeah.
It was scary as hell looking. Like, right when it first happened, he was laying there, and you could tell he was completely out, and his arms were just, like, stuck in the air, not moving. And even when they carted him off, his arms were still kind of doing that thing, which was even scarier. I mean, that was 5-10 minutes later, and his arms still stiff, man. So, God, I hope he's okay. Hate to see it.
Yeah, I'm not going to say that the decisions, to go back to your question, Bo, I'm not going to say that they lost the game for them, because, if you start kicking field goals, the complexity of the game changes. You could see when you're down 8 points, right? There's more motivation. You saw the offense kind of come to life a little bit, and you see that in games. It definitely didn't help them, though, right? I mean, like, it would have put a lot more pressure on the Chiefs offense that was struggling for, the middle half of that game.
Yeah.
And, it's just, especially the big head scratcher for me was at the end of the half, right? Like, you can kick that, you go up. I think they would have been up 7 points at that, right? You weren't getting the ball at half, right? So the Chiefs come out and they score a touchdown, and unless they're going to go for 2, which they're not going to do at that point in the game, the best they can do is tie you. Now you get nothing, and you go in, and they talked about it at the halftime thing. You know, the guys are walking in, you know, defeated now, and it only, you know, it resulted in 3 points on the first half drive for the Chiefs, or the second half drive for the Chiefs, but it's just a real weird decision to me. I understand that you're trying to be cutting edge and stuff, but I do agree with Scott that that's just being too aggressive and I mean, being too stupid. It's like, you know, it's just not smart at a certain point. You can sit there and you can use statistics to prove everything. Like 98% of all people know that, right? So,
yeah.
70% of
again,
all statistics are made up on the spot, I heard.
Yeah.
Right. But again, it goes back to you go in up 17-10, but if you go in up 21-10, it's, you know, but it's just one of those things where if you do it and it works and you get the touchdown, you look like a genius. And if you don't get it and you end up losing the game, people are questioning whether or not you lost the game for your team. So,
see, I agree with that sentiment on like 1 or 2 tries, but like 5, like oh, really? You're just gonna? It's like he was treating it like a soft 16 in Vegas. Maybe he's been hanging out around the Raiders too much. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just making those dumb decisions. I'm always going to hit on a soft 16.
Right. Well, let me put it. So I've thought about this before, especially like with 2-point conversions. So if you go for 2, let's say you just decided, you know what, I'm going to go for 2 on every touchdown. All you got to do is be better than 50% to come out ahead points wise, right? You think the Chiefs and their offense are capable of getting 2 yards more than 50% of the time?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
So if you think that, then you think it's silly not to go for it.
Well, sample size though, right?
It's so situational, right? Like today, I wouldn't have said, "Yeah, we can get 2 yards." Definitely, they proved that over and over again. So, I mean, I know what you're saying, though. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
If you flip a coin, you have a 50% chance of heads or 50% chance of tails. But if you flip a coin 100 times, what you'll notice is that you're going to hit a lot of runs where you have like 6 heads in a row, you know, and then, you know, 5 tails in a row. So, I mean, over the course of a season, yeah, you 50%, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to hit like a stretch of 2 or 3 games in a row where you're blowing all of your extra points because you don't get it. You know, you'll make up for it in other games, but the thing about a game is that, I mean, it's a contained thing, right? It's not like you can't be like, oh, well, I scored the most points throughout the whole year, so I'm the number 1 seed. It doesn't, you know, it just doesn't work like that. And so analytics over time, I think they will prove out, but in the game-to-game situation, it's just not.
I wasn't bringing it up to say they should go for every 2-point conversion. Right. I was bringing it up to say like that's like kind of like that simplifies it down a little bit, like the thought process. Like we're going to get it enough times where it's going to come out. We're going to come out ahead and give ourselves a much better chance of winning more often than we're not. Sure. And unfortunately, in this game, they came up on that cold streak where they didn't get any of them.
Yeah.
So speaking of 2-point conversions, like we were having this text battle at the end of that game on whether or not the Chiefs should have went for the 2-point conversion. They didn't. They ultimately kicked the field goal, got the tie, sent it into overtime. We all know what happened. Do you think they should have went for 2 still? Like we were all kind of like, yeah, they should go for it here. Just go for it. I mean, in hindsight, it worked out, but
it's 50-50 kind of either way, right? The coin flip or the 2-point conversion. If you think you have a 50% chance of that, I mean, 50% chance on the coin flip. And then, you know, if your defense doesn't hold. So, I mean, I was in favor in the moment. I was in favor of going for 2.
Especially after Mahomes, that last drive, right? Like I would put all the trust in
killer instinct on that drive, right?
Yeah. Insanely good.
I was wanting him to go for 2, and mostly because our defense was struggling. they were having a hard time stopping LA. LA was running the ball on them. They were throwing the ball on them. They had just, I know it ended up being one of those things where the guy fumbled the ball at the goal line, and so they didn't get the touchdown. But they had done a 99-yard drive against us when we went forward at the 1 on 4th and goal and didn't get it. They had just given up a 75-yard drive for a touchdown, that we had to come back from right before that to tie the game. Yeah, man. I was thinking go for 2 right here. I felt better about us going for 2 there than I did with our chances of overtime, trying to win the coin toss. And if you don't, then your defense has got to get a stop. But in the end, Chiefs come out on top.
Yeah. I looked at Ashley when that was going on, and she's like, yeah, you can go for 2 and win it right here. And I was like, what you were saying, just disappointed in what our defense was doing, that I was just like, if they do that, I'll kind of be disappointed, because why not just tie it, go for the overtime, you have number 15. And then she's like, you could win. I'm like, yeah, we could win. Let's do this. And then you guys started texting me like, yep, let's do this 2-point thing.
Right. Hey, man, Andy Reid, though, they kicked the extra point and made it 28-28. And then, the rest is history. Some big performances in that game by some guys.
The return of the Cheetah, we saw him a lot again this game.
Yep.
Man, he crushed it too. He had, I think, 150 yards or something like that.
Amazing catch after coming onto the field. Looked like he was cramping or had some sort of issues. That guy.
That catch, sorry to interrupt you, dude. That catch looked exactly like that first down conversion that kind of set off this whole winning streak. Remember, everybody's like, is that the spark? Is that going to be the play that sets the Chiefs off? And I guess it did. You know what I mean? We've been winning. And that play that you're referencing right there, that Tyreek Hill, same kind of thing. Same scramble right there. They made it, except Tyreek goes out of bounds this time instead of staying in bounds. Oh, man. That was great.
John B's in the house.
Got our boy John B in here. That was awesome. Congratulating us on a big win. He's Eastern time zone, so it's late. It's late out there for John V. So thanks for jumping on and shooting us a comment, John. We appreciate it, man. Yeah. Pumped for a sick game. Tyreek Hill, the catch he made along the sideline where he was interfered with, the absolute just laser beam touchdown that, dude, you can see when he turns to look for the ball, it hits him in the face, right as his head turns. How he got his hands up and was able, he actually used his face mask and his helmet to kind of stop the momentum of the ball. That catch was insane.
Slow-mo, it's stuck in that little space right there.
Right,
thank God.
I don't think I've ever seen a pass where it's you go into concussion protocol after.
Dude, it is on him. And that thing had some spin. It had some torque on it.
That was my
and then the catch he made there at the
You're
end
not
on
dropping
the fingertips, right after he was hurt, and they were rubbing the cramp out or whatever they were doing. Unbelievable game from him. Him and Travis Kelce are the ones that make and Patrick. Those are the big 3, right? I mean, you talk about a basketball analogy. Those are the guys that if you want to win, man, you got to get it going with them, and they got it done.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just a different game when those guys are producing, right? It's exciting. We score points. We get in the end zone. It's just a different offense altogether when those 2 guys are there. I still would like to see more of the other guys step up. I mean, Pringle, I don't know why they put him in so much. I'd rather see some other guys get some looks more.
He had a third down catcher, too, that was pretty big, right?
Yeah, he also had the momentum-killing return there out of 5 yards deep out of the end zone where he got tackled at the 12 or 13-yard line, and we got a penalty. But we're going to keep this on the up and up, man. We're not going to talk about the bad. There's plenty of good.
Plenty of good.
Yeah. So the Chargers. I mean, the analytics.
John's right.
How about that illegal shift play? Was that a little reminiscent of our first game against them when they're driving on their final drive? I couldn't help but laugh on that.
Right.
Classic Chargers.
Right. Yeah, and they're lucky they didn't get nailed with that more there at the end because they were doing that hurry up and they weren't getting set. The line was not getting set when they were snapping the ball. So
you know what? We dodged a lot of the same thing. So I'm going to say I'm actually happy that the refs kind of took a step aside a little bit and let a little of that kind of
I feel like
slide.
they let them play.
What's that?
I feel like they let the guys play pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. They weren't too big part of this game, and that's what I really enjoyed is that they took a step back and let the guys play.
Yeah, especially in that last play where the ball was thrown out of bounds, and maybe that's why they didn't throw the flag on Charvarius Ward. But see, that didn't really look like interference. Ward just kind of fell down while he was trying to keep up with Allen there at the end, and the ball landed a couple of yards out of bounds, so maybe it was uncatchable anyway. But yeah, the I'm sorry, dude. The fumble that they called, that's a forward pass. I don't care if the ball like twisted 2 millimeters in his hand as he was throwing it forward. Like,
especially with that guy.
It came out of his hand. His arm was going forward. The point of the ball was still like a spiral, like a pass. So
we've seen that guy throw a ball a foot off the ground horizontally and hit somebody in the face. Like, you can't tell me like that ball was moving in his hands, like I'm slipping it. Like, no way, dude. Like that guy's throwing it. Yeah. So funny.
Exactly. So what do you guys? I mean,
what did this say? I'm bringing it back up. I do like the future of Herbert is going to be a good QB. Nah.
Yeah, I hope he goes to a different team. I hope he goes to the Seahawks after they lose Russell Wilson. John, what do you think?
That ain't gonna make John V happy. He didn't want him to go into the NFC West. So
get him out of the AFC West. On the road, it was difficult, you guys. Always. Whew. Yeah,
that was a nail biter, dude.
That was insane.
Yeah. He on the 49ers. I don't think
with all their dilemmas right now, I could see why they would take him for sure.
Right. Yeah, 49ers, they got a big win against the Bengals last week on Sunday, so they're still in the playoff hunt. They're going along with Jimmy G, and I know John V doesn't want to hear that name probably very often, but 49ers, yeah, they got a win against the Bengals, so they're keeping their playoff hopes alive. Chiefs, so what? I mean, it's almost a given now that the Chiefs going to win the division. Where do you think this helps? Where do you think this gets the Chiefs to a seeding in the playoffs? How are you feeling now?
Oh, man. Depending on how well the Patriots do, and I'm predicting that the Patriots don't do that well. I'm thinking that might have done it for us. I mean, we had such a tall order at the beginning of the season to win out. And we have, you know what I mean? We still have tough games in front of us, but man, that was the one I was pretty much dreading from here out. Now it's like Cincy. I'm kind of worried about a little bit, but still, I feel great about
Steelers and Broncos.
Yeah, that's who we have, and I feel like that might have solidified our number one spot, depending on how New England does. Obviously, you know what I mean. That's the obvious take there, but I don't think New England's going to do it. I just don't see Mac Jones pulling through. They got some tough games. They have Indianapolis coming up. So, I mean, we'll see. We'll see. But I think
they would be ending their season on a 10-game winning streak. The Patriots.
So the Pats, they finish up with the Colts, the Bills, and the Dolphins. There's a loss or two in there possibly. The Bills.
Well, they're going to lose to the Dolphins. They always lose to the Dolphins at the end of the season, right?
Right. Yeah. There's that weird thing too, where they seem to always lose to the Dolphins somehow. But not on top of that, like I'm not throwing too much dirt on the Bills just quite yet.
Right.
I'm not scared of the Bills. I would think the Chiefs would probably be favored in the game against the Bills right now. But I'm not going to throw dirt on them and say that they can't come back and beat New England.
Man, I wonder what the odds would be right now. Chiefs versus Bills,
right.
Like 3.
Colts can beat them. Chiefs, man, like we were talking about winning out. They just they finish out with a game against the last game of the year is against the Broncos, and then we've got a game against the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Which Chiefs should be able to win that game.
Yeah. They should.
Now I can't think of the last. Oh, the Steelers. Steelers. That game's at home. That's a win. So, yeah, I see the Chiefs winning out, and I could definitely see the Patriots losing a game or two coming down the stretch here. So
It's going to be
It's
tight.
hard to believe, man. Like that's why you love sports, right? Especially NFL football. Back week 7 when we were 3-4, and the defense was just looked like a boat that had been shot full of holes, and they were just listing and trying not to capsize. And you're wondering what's going on, and next thing you know, you win 7 straight, and you're sitting at 10-4, and you're looking like you've got a pretty damn good shot of being the 1 seed in the playoffs in the AFC. That's why they play the games, right?
Right.
Well, what I can say is right now, the Chiefs have the 1 seed. So
yeah. We just moved into the number 1 seed right there, right? Yep. Technically speaking.
Yeah. So, what do you think this does for the Chargers mentality the rest of the way? They play the Broncos, but they've got the Texans, and I want to say the Raiders. I think they're still a playoff team, but this has got to be, I don't know what their locker room's like. But that's got to be a brutal loss, just an absolute brutal loss to a team that you thought you thought this was going to be your year, and you had them down 28-21 late in the game at home, and you let it slip away, and it's kind of same old Chargers, right?
Here's what it'll do for the Chargers, right? That's going to put them at 8-6 after today. The other teams that are coming up that are 7-6 that are playing Sunday, Monday, the Colts, the Bills, the Browns, the Bengals, the Broncos, right? All have an opportunity to sit there and tie them. So, I mean, like, they could get knocked out. Sorry to cut you off there. I was kind of on the other side.
No, you're good.
But yeah, man, like that was an upset for them potentially. I think I saw somewhere that it reduces their chance to even get into the playoffs. Like, I think now they have like an under a 10% chance to even get in. So, I mean, what a victory.
The Browns, though, I think that they have their first and second string quarterbacks on the COVID list right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, John, that's they're depleted, but yeah, it's going to be a tough road for the Chargers the rest of the way. Scott, I mean, it's got to be hard for the players that have been on that team for a couple of years to not feel those old demons creeping up.
Man.
Conversely, though, you could sit there and be like, look, we had them. We can hang with these guys, right? We can take them right down to the wire. But, we also were missing 3 defensive starters, and not just like defensive starters. We're missing Chris Jones, who, other than people named Aaron Donald, is the best defensive lineman in football.
Right.
Especially now that he's moved back to the inside. L'Jarius Sneed, who has been a stud, and Willie Gay, who has been a monster, helping, stop the run, making tackles on screen passes and plays in the flat. So I feel really good coming away with a win, because I'll be honest. I sent Scott a text earlier, and I was like, I feel stupid, but man, I'm stressing about this game. I was just like anxious about this game at like 1 in the afternoon, just sitting there thinking about it.
Yeah, man, I was stressed too, and it's just like it felt like one after another. Every player was getting on that list, just like, oh man, well, this game's just got super interesting. But I like what John's saying here, next man up kind of thing. What I liked about that is, like, we saw Nick Bolton out there like a lot, and that kid, phenomenal rookie year, phenomenal rookie year. You see him everywhere, doing all the right things. I mean, talk about solidifying your position on the team. Like that kid, that kid's going to be there for a while. Man, he did good.
Hey, I got one other thing I want to bring up. How about another Dirty Dan Sorensen redemption?
Yeah, right.
He got a stop on a 3rd down where he one-on-one tackled Justin Herbert on a design QB run, I think. And then that batted pass was huge. I mean, so much maligned earlier in the season, memes flying all around about how awful he was. I mean, I even saw him photoshopped into the Tropic Thunder. What was the name of that movie? Simple
Simple Jack.
Simple Jack. He was photoshopped into Simple Jack. I mean, that guy just got brutal treatment, and he obviously wasn't playing well, but it was good to see him have a huge play and a game-turning play in the end, right? So
that's what I was thinking when he did that too. I was just like, good for him, man. Another game. At least it wasn't like a one-off, like, oh, I got one thing. And yeah, man, awesome to see him come up big again.
And I want to give a couple shout-outs here real quick. I just went off camera a couple of times. I want to give a shout-out to my boy Chad that I work with, who's a Raiders fan, who texted me when the Chargers went up 28-21 and said, don't be coming into work crying. I told you the Chiefs were going to lose. And I sent him a message back because he sent me that same message in the Browns game. He sent me that same message in one of the other games they came back from behind and won. And I told him, I said, dude, every time you do that, they win. Like, why don't you wait till the game's over? He goes, oh, no, they ain't winning this one. They ain't winning this one. And, dude, I
let him keep texting.
Right. So give a shout to him. And then also our guy John V in the comments here.
Yeah.
Check out his show on YouTube and his handles on Twitter, The Locker Room Rant. It's really funny shit, man. Like, I watch it every week. It's hilarious. They do all sports. They don't, they don't just talk football or they don't just talk Niners. They talk their teams, obviously, but they talk all sports, and it's hilarious. And those guys are just a blast to watch. So check out The Locker Room Rant. You can find it on YouTube. You can find at The Locker Room Rant on Twitter. We retweet some of theirs if you follow our stuff on Twitter. But go give him a sub and a follow, and you'll be glad you did because it's really, really good stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Like going back, I kind of jumped off there. I got a text message from my buddy, the Raiders fan there, that I think this is I think it's a brutal blow to the psyche of the Chargers, man. I just don't see. I get what you're saying, Nick, about, well, we had them, but in the back of your mind, man, it's like when you're trying to play like your dad at bat, like playing 21 in the driveway or something, right? Like, no matter how close you came to beating him, man, he always beat you. And like, you always thought like, oh, I almost had him. I'm going to get him next time. But in the back of your mind, you just know, or if you've ever played sports and there was that team that like you almost had them a bunch of times, but it's almost in the back of your mind, like it's fucking, they're gonna come back and get, like, it happens every time. So I just think I think it's brutal, man, for them to have it so close and yeah, no, exactly, yeah, I mean.
I heard an interesting statistic about the Raiders. So out of the last 20 years, the Lions have lost the most football games, and the Raiders have lost the second most football games out of any other team in the NFL.
That's a great stat to know. I know too many Raiders fans to have not known that. I'm texting that right now. Actually, his entire family is Raiders fans. Oh man,
we need to get that going on the ticker.
You'll have to send them a voice text though, right?
Raiders second losing team in NFL history. But yeah, man, I'm still pumped from that game. It was just a fucking unbelievable game. It really was. So many swings too. Like the Chiefs come out and they get that 10-point lead. And it looks like they're on cruise control, and then the Chargers come out and they get the lead, and then you get the stop, which was Dirty Dan Sorensen there on 4th down and goal, where he knocked the pass down going into half. You come back out, Chiefs blow a chance to get the lead, and the Chargers, but then they tie, and then the Chargers go back in front with the touchdown, and there's 2 minutes left, and Chiefs go get the touchdown, and then overtime, like just a roller coaster, man, like up and down. I definitely beats the usual Jags-Titans Thursday night game that you get, the obligatory Jets-Bengals or some shit that you usually get for a Thursday night game. America got treated to a hell of a primetime game.
Nick
Unfortunately,
Bolton.
Yeah, there's our guy right there, Nick Bolton, man. Hell yeah.
Hey, it's our first comment.
What's that?
It's our first comment from Twitch, but hell yeah, Nick Bolton. That guy's a stud, man.
Yeah, what's it say? Kings. There you go. Kings Pound 51.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, man. Glad to have you. big Chiefs win, obviously. Just I don't know what else to say, man. At this point, it's just I'm ready for the fucking playoffs to start now. Like,
Oh,
we
man.
just
I know, right?
fast forward 3 weeks, and yeah, you're right, John. December football is awesome, no doubt about that.
The games that mean something, it's hard to replace, right? You don't get a lot of them. You think about the games earlier in the year, and you're like, yeah, they're fun, but when it's like there's chips in the middle of the table for this one, it's definitely a different feeling, and to come out on top. And we were talking about this during the game in our group chat. If we were like, can the Chiefs do this? And it's like, well, if they can't, then like they're not going to be doing anything in the postseason, right? This is what championship teams are made of, where they can go against a good opponent on the road. They can be down 8. They can get that drive. They can score a touchdown, get the 2-point conversion, and come back. And it's good to see Mahomes do that. It was very cathartic, to see him just come back. And I know Elaine earlier commented about the look in his eyes, and he did have that killer instinct, like I think like Tiger Woods, when Tiger Woods was in his prime, you would get that look on his face and you're like, oh, like he's like definitely not to be fucked with right now. And that was that look that Patrick had and just stole their souls, right? It was a great game.
Not 5 seconds before he took off on that 40-yard run or whatever it was at the end, Scott was sitting there texting everybody, why won't he just run the ball? So
he did. He had it open because they were playing soft and they were not wanting to get deep. And I was just seeing these huge chunks of green in the middle of the field. And, we've been talking about that on previous shows. Like, he kind of got away from scrambling, lost that part of his game. King in here, COVID's going to be a big factor in the playoffs. Definitely, man.
Oh, huge.
Definitely.
You might wipe out it. Like, are they gonna? Do you know if they're like or having that like schedule where there's like 2 weeks on either end of the playoffs, just in case? Like,
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I haven't seen that. I think it's just going to be one of those things where it's going to be like injuries. You just hope it doesn't happen to your team.
Not only that, but they've rolled out
new
protocols. They've rolled out new protocols because of the Omicron or whatever. So I think that they've even got some new stuff that's rolling out that could impact, the way the rest of the season goes. But yeah, that's going to be a huge factor. I mean, teams that can, stay, healthy or, stay contact free, whatever you want to call it, and are going to have a huge advantage. You don't.
Right.
And, I mean, even if guys can play because they get the 2 negative tests or whatever, they still weren't practicing, so you're playing, but you were missing practice. You weren't, part of the game plan. You may not have been able to travel with the team. I mean, it's going to be a huge factor still going into this postseason.
I just saw that you got the Raiders' second most injured team in NFL history on the ticker.
Well, it was last 20 years.
Well done, man.
Recorded, but
here, I'm sorry, I gotta preface it.
But I mean, you can leave it up. It's okay. Like, nobody's fact checking. So
not yet, anyway. We're getting demonetized now. The NFL's recognizing our channel from using their clips all the time. So that's all right.
Hey, man, this is an opinion show, all right? We're not journalists here. We don't need fact checkers. And
we haven't made any money off of it. I don't understand why they get to run ads and make money off of our video.
It's because you're so.
I guess they don't want us getting to the point where we start making money. But
no, King, I'll put this up. Tell everybody about our show. We'll deal with that problem. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, no, well, it's how's that saying go? It's better to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission, right? Isn't that the way that saying goes? So just do what you want and then try to say you're sorry afterwards. But yeah, that look, like you could see it, and I think I tweeted out on the Kingdom Cast Twitter thing. I was like, you left Patrick too much time, man. Like, you just way too much time, and then in the overtime, you just knew the Chargers weren't getting the ball back. Like, after that drive where it just went down and diced them up, and Travis Kelce with the sick, amazing catch and run there to win the game. Like, dude, what's that feeling gotta be like? I don't know, man. Like that, I don't think, and I didn't even realize where he was on the field until I saw like I could see the goal line, and I was like, he's gonna make it. He's gonna make it. Yeah, crazy, man.
You're somewhere around the 10 where you realize like, oh shit, he's gonna score. This is over. And
right, I was just stoked that he made the catch, and then like, yeah, exactly. You see where he is on the field. Yeah, it got loud real quick.
Oh.
Right. Yep. And then again, like I said, I'm going to say it again. Melvin Ingram winning that coin toss against the old squad, man. It's cold-blooded. Like, that's killer right there. That's just, you let the guy go, and then he comes back to haunt you.
God, what a phenomenal pickup, though, right? Like,
for a 6th-round draft pick, like, dude, like.
Yeah, couldn't ask for anything better. What an impact player he's been. I mean, crushing it.
Did the Rooneys owe the Clarks or the Hunts a favor? You know, did you owe Clark Hunt? Did you owe him a favor or something to do that? So you guys go on after every game? No, we don't usually go on after the games. We're usually on Tuesdays, 6 p.m. And then we do like a weekend show where we do picks. This is like a OMG break glass in case of emergency show. We're pumped about the big.
Our emotions were high. We had to get
emotions were high.
We weren't sleeping anyway, so
yeah. And I'm not going to take credit, but I did text you guys when we got the ball there at the end to go down to tie it. And I was like, when we win this, are we doing a show? Because I just knew it, man. You could see it, like Elaine said, you could see the look in Patrick's eyes, and he's just like, all right, this is my, I'm the best. I'm the man. I'm going to go out and I'm going to show it. And I'm going to one-up you, and I'm going to go get the game, and you're going to have 1:12 left to go get in field goal range. Can you do it? And Herbert couldn't do it, and Patrick got the ball in overtime, and just – did you see the motion he was doing too after that game? He was like pointing his chest. He got tired of hearing that shit after losing the first game to the Chargers earlier in the season. And Jimmy Johnson was on there saying, if I was starting the league over and I had the 101 pick, I'd pick Justin Herbert over everybody else in the league. And it was Justin Herbert mania, and it was their coach is a genius. And oh my God, look how cutting edge he is. Is he the best coach in the league or one of the best coaches? And they were waiting. He was waiting for this game, and he took advantage. He made the plays, and Herbert didn't, and that's all she wrote.
Yeah.
Kelce heard all that Kittle talk this week.
Yeah, that too.
Oh man,
that too. We're gonna get John B too worked up on Kittle and Kelce.
Kittle is a fine tight end, John.
He's a good player, man.
The only reason I'm really pissed off with Kittle is because I had him on fantasy at the beginning of the year.
Man,
he sucked the first 4 or 5 games till he got hurt. Didn't play for 3 or 4 weeks, so I dropped him. And he comes back and is just having some of the best games of his career. It's so frustrating. Fuck that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but man, division's almost in the bag.
1 seed is on the horizon potentially.
Right.
It's a far cry from 3 and 4, isn't it, guys?
Oh man,
3 and 4 to 10 and 4, man. It don't matter how you get there, right? As long as you get there, that's kind of the way
I remember that podcast week we were going back and just like, guys, should we even do this podcast? Like, what a season to start this shit on, right?
Right, I know. We thought it was a curse, man.
I was gonna say in the second or third episode, I think I said the Chiefs could go and rip off a 7-game win streak. I think it was right before the Bills game, and I was horribly wrong about that, but. We got there.
Talking about was the show a curse, remember? Because
we
didn't do it before week 1, and we started after that Browns game, and then they proceeded to lose like 2 or 3 of the next 4 or 5 games, and we're like, man, like, is this our fault? Like, did we do that? Like, I don't know, like weird cosmos, but
Oh, that dude's got a
Andy's in the
Burger
bag
King.
and not a Burger King bag.
I'm sure he's going to In-N-Out right now.
I bet you that's
was
the next Uber Eats commercial. I'm having a double cheeseburger with bacon.
Right no. I always pictured Andy Reid as like a Big Mac guy, though, not a Whopper, not Burger King guy, but who knows? Old
I don't
Big
think
Red.
he pays attention. He's like, cheeseburgers. Okay.
Man,
Oh,
I just cannot believe Travis Kelce's game that he had.
Dude, all like just Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, like they were both so quiet last week, or not last week, week before last, and or past couple weeks actually. Just to see
They've
them
had some
come
down
back.
games.
Yeah, man. So it's just great to see them coming back strong, dancing in the end zone. I thought when they tied it up, though, I was just like, "Oh, the dance, really? The team dance right now? Like, we just tied it, guys. We're not winning right now."
I'm not gonna lie, my first text after that touchdown was like, too much time to like 3 different people, because I was looking at the clock and I was like, they only got to get in field goal range, and the defense, although they got stops at the goal line, they had not forced a punt all night. But kudos to them stepping it up. I mean, you know, a home playoff game on the line. They made the stop, got it done. It was
did Kelsey do the Dirty Dan celebration on his way to the end zone? Is that what he was doing?
A little.
The ball was like,
I have to go back and watch it. I'm not sure. I was yelling too much. I couldn't tell. I couldn't see through my yells.
Yeah, I'll have to watch the highlights because again, I was screaming and jumping up and down, I think, at that point in time. So
high-fiving Ashley facing the other way on the TV. Why could no other pass catchers do much? It's a good point, man. I mean, they should be. We had the Legion of Zoom last year, and they zoomed right out of here. Too many Zoom calls.
I don't know, man. It's just Pringle and Robinson and these other guys, like they're just guys, you know. They're not Hardman. They're just not. I don't know. Like I was hoping Josh Gordon to come in, or maybe Hardman would take a step, you know, forward this year and become that solid number 2 with Sammy Watkins being gone behind Tyreek. But yeah, no, they're not. They're third and fourth receivers is what they are. And we all like to fall in love with the guy who has a good game out of nowhere, like Byron Pringle, and he's made some nice plays. But really, like Byron Pringle, like on any other team, you wouldn't know who he is.
Yeah, you will, because you get so frustrated when he takes it from 6 yards out of the end zone. Like, what are you doing? Who's this guy? Oh, Pringle.
I hear the same thing every time that happens in my head, and it's not my voice; it's Scott's voice. It's like,
yeah, it's Scott's
kneel
voice.
the ball down. I just hear it in my head. I just hear, because I know that's exactly what Scott's thinking.
He's like, I watch the ball hit his hands, and I see him do this, and I'm like, no, what are you doing? Stop!
Like on the team's logo in the end zone. Here we go.
And you know, I have the, you know, these why can't they? And it's single coverage, and it is frustrating, right? It's also frustrating that, you know, we've got the lighter boxes with the shell coverage, and our running backs are not producing
3 yards. Yeah, I think it was like 89 yards.
You just saw the drastic difference in the ability of backs in the game tonight. And I'll be honest, I was frustrated that after Derek Gore got a 50-yard touchdown, that he didn't even warrant one carry.
One rush
in the game. I mean, he had the longest rush from scrimmage in 2 years for the team, and you don't get one touch.
To be fair to that, I remember that was pretty late in that Raiders game, and even the Raiders were playing some 2 and 3s. They weren't playing their starters at the very last of that game, but I agree, though. It should have warranted him a couple looks at least.
Yeah. I mean, I know it was a tight game, but I mean, it's not like Williams or, CEH were having monster games, right? I mean, they were, getting stuck at a couple yards. So, No, Gordon did not play. Gordon was on the COVID list with Jones and Willie Gay. So
Right. Yeah, no. Before we get out of here, it's getting to be somewhat late. What do you think a win like this is going to do? I'd say, what do you think a loss like this is going to do for the Chargers? What do you think a win like this does for the Chiefs in these next 3 games and heading into the playoffs?
I mean, it's just that confidence that we can do this, right? We can go in against, a wild card team, a playoff team, and we can pull it out. We can win. We can do it without all of our people on the field. It's just got to be a huge confidence boost. It's got to be a huge confidence boost for for Patrick to sit there and say, I can still do this. I still got this, right? Like we still got it. I know that, he listens to some of that outside noise because he's done the celebrations that reference the outside noise. Like you said, he's pointing to his chest,
I think you saw that tonight.
Yeah. And
it's on mouth, the Kingdom Cast. The Kingdom Cast, right?
Yeah,
he listens to the noise.
Like my favorite show. Travis Kelce, if you listen to this, you're always welcome on. You can come in and talk about your 191-yard performance, but it's just got to be a huge confidence boost for them, right? It's got to be that, we talked about is that one pass the turning point where they kind of get their confidence back or their swagger back, and it's like, is this the game where that there's the turning point of like, oh, the Chiefs are like a force for the postseason? Because I think that outside of the teams not named the Raiders, the Chiefs have kind of been winning, but not winning, in like real super impressive ways. 7 wins in a row is impressive enough, but so I think that this game it's a statement, to themselves and to the rest of the NFL. So,
yeah, man, I was kind of like hearing the talking heads before the game was over, just like, and the Chiefs start off strong, then fizzle out, like we had kind of brought up, just like, oh man, what is going on with this? But then you just saw it turn around. Like Mahomes took charge. He started scrambling. You really saw like a different confidence in his throws. Like we were mentioning, like that Tiger Woods look, man, like a win for that. Like it shuts all those guys up 100%. It changes the narrative to, wow, look at this team now. Faced like backs up against the wall. They can do it, and they can do it. They can shove the ball right down your throat. You know what I mean? Those were some of the 2 most impressive drives I've seen back to back in the Chiefs in a long time. Those were great drives. I think that win, it just sends echoes throughout the NFL. Like we're back.
Yeah, stay healthy and we have a chance, right?
Yeah, no, King, that's right, man. 100%. That's going to be huge. I don't know. Maybe you see a situation. I doubt it with the 1 seed the way it's going, where you could rest some starters that last week. I don't think the Chiefs will have a big enough cushion at that point to do that, but it's going to be huge to me, man. Like that win is just, it's like reminiscent of the Super Bowl championship team, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't matter. We'll come out and we'll beat the Raiders 48-9, and we can front run, or we can be down and look like we're out. And as long as 15's out there on the field and there's time on the clock, it don't matter. It doesn't matter. We're going to find a way to do it. He's going to get it done. So I don't know what else there is to say now, man.
So to go back to the locker room rant, I was watching the other day and John V was going on this rant, pun intended, about Jimmy Garoppolo. And he just kept saying, Jimmy can't do this, and Jimmy does this, and Jimmy thinks this. And like, I was just sitting there and all I could think of was the Seinfeld episode where the guy talks about himself in third person and his name is Jimmy. And then all the guys on the show started laughing. You should go back and watch it. But it was so funny because John like said Jimmy straight up like 8 times in a row.
Right.
I just couldn't stop laughing thinking about it.
All right, man. Hey,
What's up,
thanks
dude?
for joining in, King. Yeah, anytime,
Yeah,
man.
cheers,
Like
buddy.
I said,
Welcome
Tuesdays
anytime.
at 6. We'll be breaking down the previous weeks. We'll talk about we'll run over previous week's game and we'll break down the upcoming game, talk about news, whatnot. Yeah, that's just to me, man. Like this is the first time all year the Chiefs looked like the old Chiefs from last year and the year before, where they just buckled down and Mahomes looked like he was unstoppable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did. He looked unstoppable at the end of that game.
Yeah, there was nothing they could have done.
We appreciate that. We
No.
really
Yeah,
appreciate
cheers, dude. That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
No doubt,
We're
man.
just
Glad
doing
to
this for
have you.
fun right now so that we can talk, some smack about the Chiefs and talk to each other. It's good for our fandom but yeah, we're looking for people to participate. So thanks for coming on. Make sure to, subscribe and tell everybody that that would enjoy the show.
Yeah, no, John's not a Jimmy fan, man. I mean, I get it. Like I was amazed when they made the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. Like I did not think he was a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. I thought he was a good quarterback, but he's just one of those like good but not good enough, like a Kirk Cousins or one of these other guys. Like, and was good but just not good enough. And
Yeah.
they've got their young guy now, and I know the 49ers fans want to see the young guy, but I don't think you're going to see him this year. I think they're following the Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes program where he's going to sit for a year, maybe even 2. Probably not 2 in that situation because I think Jimmy G will be gone after this year. I think he's gone, and they'll move on to Trey Lance. But yeah, he's just you get stuck in those you get stuck, right? Is you got a quarterback that's good, and so you don't want to move on from him because you could do a lot worse. But at the same time, like deep down inside, like the dude just ain't gonna be good. He's just not good enough to get it done. And so that's like that, like quarterback limbo, I guess you could call it. I don't know.
I feel like a lot of teams are in that limbo right now. We were talking about the Seahawks earlier. I mean, there's a bunch of teams that, desperate need of a good quarterback where they're kind of using washed up ones or older ones.
Yeah, no doubt. But well, no, you guys want to like jump off? What do you want to do? I mean, it's getting beyond midnight here.
I think the buzz is worn off for me a little bit. I was like, so stoked to jump on here and talk about that win. So
it's only 9:45 for me, guys. The night is still young. I'm gonna have another beer.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Bo's out there on that Pacific Coast time. So
Trey Lance is too raw, but damn, sometimes I wish he would get reps, especially when Jimmy manages to sack himself.
Yeah, that's a problem when you're sacking yourself. That's tough to win there. But he's got him in the playoff hunt right now, and I don't know, man. Like you could be worse. I mean, there could be there's a lot worse quarterbacks than Jimmy G out there, but I understand.
They're winning it right now, right? They're
like,
slated. They're like they're one of the teams like that are in it right now, right?
Right.
They're like 6 or 7 or something like that.
Good, but not. Jimmy G is one of those guys that's good, but not good enough.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but
The
Chiefs
are in the
win.
6th spot.
Chiefs win. Take 2-game lead on the Los Angeles Chargers with 3 to go, which would be a record AFC West 6th straight division championship. The Broncos and the Chargers, I want to say each have done it five straight, but Chiefs would be the first team to win the division 6 straight years. It's all there for the taking now, and get in there and get ready for the playoffs. So thanks everybody who jumped in, sent us a comment. King, John V, good to see you as always, man.
Yeah, Doug, Elaine, everybody, race car.
Yeah,
Pounds. Thank you guys.
Cars
Appreciate it.
So, and then we got John. No doubt, Scott is just consistently inconsistent. Congrats, fellas. I'm going to crash. Keep killing it. Thanks again, John. We appreciate it. Check out John's show, The Locker Room Rant. I'm going to keep telling you until you go check it out. So, we'll. I guess we'll probably be back on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Kingdom time next week. We'll we'll break this game down a little bit more in depth and look into it a little bit more. Right, this is just kind of like a raw emotion reaction
Yep. Yeah.
show. We'll kind of go through some numbers and have some statistics and some highlights and things to break down, and then we'll look ahead to next week's game, which is against the
Steelers.
That's right. That's the Steelers game, day after Christmas game. So thanks everybody who jumped in, joined in. Follow us at the Kingdom Cast on all social media platforms. Click that like and subscribe button. And until then, let's go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs!
God, what a great win.